Hello, my name's Steve Abley. I live in Winchester in England, which is part of the United Kingdom. And I wanted to contact you and everyone else that I know, who I know is passionate about seeing the glory of God released across the earth. And I wanted to contact you because I encountered a powerful vision this week, and I felt I needed to share it. And also I believe the Lord is going to commission something following it. And just before I do carry on, I just want to say, and those who know me will know this, speaking to a camera isn't my favourite format, and I don't have a great memory. And so I'm going to be reading from notes, and you know, the inflections on my voice might not make sense. But I feel I need to do this because it looks so long as an email, and also you can't release emails onto certain formats. So I'll do my best. Here's a bit of background first. I don't know if you saw the video that I released on Facebook about the beautiful patterns and shapes that sound makes a while ago. In case you didn't, it's posted at the end of this video. If you're seeing this from email, or it's actually posted before this film is on Facebook, on the National Heart of Worship page, or on YouTube on the National Heart of Worship channel. It's really fascinating. In the video, several musicians play into a bowl of water, into a plate with salt on it, into a metal tube that's got flames coming out of the holes, and even into a lightning conductor. And the plate is called a Chladni plate, and it vibrates very, very quickly and produces the sound waves, the patterns that the sounds produce. And all of these things actually produce the sounds, what they look like in a particular way. The patterns change as the sounds play. They play around or into these pieces of equipment, change too. Imagine what a room or a hall full of worshippers would look like if we could actually see the sound waves that were being created. And imagine what worship across the world looks like in the spirit as the atmosphere patterns change above and around it. We're totally surrounded by sound every second of every day, even though we can't see them. Some of the sound is glorious, some of the sound is hideous, and it depends on the spiritual forces behind the sounds being produced. The unique sound we release when we worship literally changes the atmosphere of our towns, cities, nations, and continents. And by original sound that we produce, I'm talking about sound that comes from you, songs that come from you, not songs that you've borrowed from someone else or are really famous, or sounds that you've borrowed from somebody else, but things that are authentically you. There's nothing wrong with using other people's songs, but I've seen this work best when you create your own sound. So imagine the transformation taking place as we release heaven on earth with our sound. Imagine what the sound of glory does from God to those who actually hear it. Imagine what the enemy feels when the glory of God, the reality of the glory of God, is released. In the vision I had this week, I saw the earth crisscrossed with intense, bright, shining lines. It was like a gigantic net covering the whole planet, with different shades and degrees of light and beauty and colour. The brightness was piercing from every single angle you looked, and when I zoomed in closer, I could see that each line of this net was made of many different precious metals and stones. Gold, silvers, diamonds, amethysts, and the rest. Such an array of beauty. I became aware quite soon that the vision represented the manifest glory of God on earth, but that I shouldn't just focus on the beauty of it, but what was actually happening throughout the net as it shone. Every stone, every metal was symbolic of God in some way. Gold, the predominant colour, represented the presence and the greatness of God. Diamonds, which reflected and refracted this incredible light from every other stone and metal, they represented the brightness and the power of God. And as we released worship, they cut deep into the darkness and deeds of the enemy. And the enemy was actually being smothered by the light and the glory of the net. It was removing components of evil. Just like in the film The Matrix, I don't know if you've seen it, where the network is beginning to try and search out and find the people who live in Zion, the goodies, if you like. And there were machines to start taking them apart and destroy them. Well, in this vision, it was the opposite. So it was the glory that was removing and the destroying all the evil. And yet, it was our release of the sound that we carry, the glory that we carry, that was enabling that glory to actually remove that evil. Each precious stone and metal in the vision, though it was beautiful, was primarily a weapon of warfare. When I asked the Lord what I was seeing, he said, "It's my glory, son. It's my glory filling the earth." And you can read about that in Isaiah 11:9 and in Habakkuk 2:14. And I started to see that the vision wasn't so much what is happening now, but what God is about to commission. That is the glory being released across the world, throughout and between nations like never before. So I believe He is calling it time now for us to release the glory of God. The treasure we carry, the earthen vessels that we are, carry this incredible glory and power and spirit. And it's not time just because of the beauty it creates, but because it's a powerful weapon of warfare across the earth. That's what I was led to study in this vision. But why now? What does this mean? Well, I don't know whether you've noticed that for some time now, particularly since the onset of COVID, different world institutions have started to play a much bigger role in national life. Like the UN, the World Bank, the World Health Organization, a coordinating action along with others, trying to solve the world's problems and even preparing a world reset or a new order of some kind. There are different religions that are beginning to rise up with violence. There are different nations that are beginning to rise up in a sinister sort of way. There are different movements that are focusing on certain areas of the population, which isn't wrong, but it's just beginning to take, a very controlling way about it, forcing people to believe certain things because they're told to. Powerful new global media organisations, an attack on free speech and on truth itself are all working towards a type of mass psychosis. It's not been seen since World War II, but it's on a world scale this time. It wasn't a national scale of certain nations during the war, Second World War, but it's now becoming a world thing. And it could easily lead to a type of global totalitarianism by the back door when nobody realises it's actually beginning to take over. Although releasing worship in spirit and in truth over our own individual nations is essential, I don't think that's strategically effective enough internationally. And it's internationally where the new spiritual front lines of this war are being drawn. At such a time as this, I believe that we're being commissioned to match the strategic shift in world affairs with an international spiritual joining of the dots of nations. The Bible speaks of the earth being full of the glory of God as the waters, which actually link nations, cover the sea. As the times we're living in appear to be preempting some sort of new world order or end time preparation, I believe God is calling us to preempt the enemy's plans as prophetic musicians, prophetic prayers, prophetic intercessors, with a world perspective and a passion to see this happen. So how do we do it? Well, firstly, we need to realize that we carry the glory of God wherever we are. Anywhere in the world, at any time, it's the treasure in earthen vessels. As we release it through our own authentic worship style, as I spoke about earlier, we begin to change the atmosphere and the culture of nations. When we do it on our own as individuals, we do it to a degree or so. But when we actually release it in groups, in crowds, it's absolutely incredible. The glory of God begins to be revealed. And when the glory is released through our spirit and truth worship, I believe heaven responds with the same. The on earth as it is in heaven principle begins to outwork. When the glory of God manifests, it achieves in seconds what it would take years and years for us to plan for, to pray for, to contest over, and to action. The glory of God releases peace, salvation, healing, the miraculous, and many other elements of victory that we're all waiting for. Because the glory of God is God, and glory is the God is the glory. We are simply releasing God who lives within us as temples of the Holy Spirit. Secondly, I believe God wants us to release our worship as a trained, strategized, focused, fully loaded and aimed weapon. In the same way as David uses his harp, but also in the same way that the enemy does. He strategizes. We need to strategize. He focuses. We need to focus. He aims and loads and aims again. That's what we need to do. So that just like the diamonds in the vision, the glory of God destroys all enemy presence, and it brings heaven to earth. And where heavenly culture pervades, all conversations, all decisions, all national, international strategy comes into alignment with heaven. At a time of unprecedented darkness across the earth, this will be a global approach to match, to overawe and preemptively strike the darkness at work in our world out with the beauty and power of the vision of the network of glory I saw. Not by fighting in a striven way, but by releasing sound and glory and allowing God to do so. I believe the Lord is instructing us that now is the time to start to take action, to begin to push back the darkness. It's time for those who are passionate about God, the worshippers, musical prophets, prayers and intercessors, those who understand the godly principles of godly sound. It's time to step up several levels and begin to join together, networking, coordinating, and releasing the glory of God right across the world. Those who know me know that I've been speaking on this subject all over the world now for years and years, and I have seen the miraculous break out on many occasions all over the place. But I've mainly focused on the United Kingdom. However, on encountering this vision, I realised that as well as focusing on the UK as my own nation, I need to significantly widen the focus. So for anybody who feels like they want to get involved, and absolutely anyone with a passion for God is welcome too, I've set up what's known as a Patreon account. This has a prophetic worship time and 2 training sessions every month, so that we can learn about and understand the sounds and the ways and the strategies of releasing the glory of God whenever and wherever you are. It also tells you how to it also tells you how to join others practically across the world, and probably answers just about every other question you might have. I don't say that this is just going to be the training of me forever. It's just a start, and I believe there are people all over the world who are experts in this field and will be able to just join together and begin to train up the warriors across the world, train up the worship warriors, train up the worship singers, the warrior singers, train up those people who have a passion and put it into action, so we actually do begin to see the prophetic rise up, the prophetic that says the earth will be filled with the glory of God. It will. That's going to happen. As we begin to train, as we begin to come together, as we begin to unite, as we begin to focus, to load our weapons of mass destruction, really, if you're the enemy, to load up our the way we release the glory of God, and allow that to do, then that's what's going to happen. Patreon is a subscription service, and I don't apologise for that, because we need to start building resources to equip this new ministry, and the very modest subscriptions, one of which is pay what you can for these different activities, will go to establish the National Heart of Worship here in the United Kingdom, and also a whole family of other glory centres around the world. So if you'd like to have a look and be part of this, please go to patreon.com/Steve Abley and follow the instructions, and let's see where this takes us. I'll aim to, the address, the website address, will be on the email automatically, and I will aim to put it in a comment or in the title of the YouTube or Facebook National Heart of Worship page. You know, there are already links forming between the UK and the US in this way. Very, very positive and very powerful links. But I'm expecting links to develop between many different nations around the world. So please would you share this with your friends, both at home and abroad. If this isn't particularly for you, but you know someone who it would be, then just pass them on the email, forward it on, or send the Facebook or link to the YouTube channel. Send that to them. The worship and the other training sessions actually start on Sunday the 12th of December at 8 p.m. That's UK time. And it's next week, it's a week today. So do take a look at Patreon. God bless you, wherever you are. And I really look forward to us meeting together and going for this. It's really, really exciting. And I just think it will be a dynamic thing to be involved with. And for personally, it will also be a dynamic thing to be involved with. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day.